Welcome to American Dreams. I'm here today with Lew Cramer. Lew, welcome to today's show.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure.
Lew, I'm really excited for this interview. You have a very unique background, path in life, doing a lot of different things. But, maybe for the listeners here, you can give some history from, let's start your college years of, how you got to where you are today, what your path in life looks like.
Well, thank you. And Alan, it's a delight to be here. I had an interesting beginning growing up in Mesa, Arizona, went to Stanford in the 1960s, which was a pretty wild time to be at any university, but particularly Stanford. I served an LDS mission in Berlin in the depths of the Cold War. My draft number was 2, so Stanford had burned the ROTC building, so I had to go to BYU in the middle of the semester in order to enroll in ROTC. And there I met a beautiful blonde woman named Barbara Welch. We just celebrated our 51st wedding anniversary. I readily signed up for another 51. I'm the luckiest man on earth. But then I had the opportunity to practice law in the Silicon Valley, in Los Angeles, and then to go to Washington, D.C. as a White House fellow in the Reagan administration, and served as one of his international trade negotiators, became a Deputy Assistant Secretary of Commerce, and then promoted to Assistant Secretary of Commerce for International Trade. And then in the Bush 1 administration, I also served as the Director General of the Commercial Service of the United States, which is the 1,400 commercial attachés around the world. By about this time, my father-in-law, who was one of the founding partners of Latham & Watkins, said, "My son-in-law cannot keep a job." I proved him right, spent the next decade working for U.S. West International, putting the first cell phone systems in about 20 countries around the world, particularly as the wall fell. So, and from there came to left Washington, D.C. and founded the World Trade Center here with my dear friend, Governor Jon Huntsman. And now I've the pleasure for the last decade being the CEO of Colliers, Utah, which is the largest commercial real estate company in the Intermountain West and part of the third largest commercial real estate company on the planet. So it's been a delightful life, and I meet people like Alan Olson, and I think it was all worth it. So thank you for the opportunity to be here. That's more than you wanted to hear. And in between, we've had 6 children, 22 grandchildren, and a lot of adventures. So thank you for the opportunity to talk more about me.
Well, what a legacy. Humble. What a legacy. And Lew, for the listeners here that are seeing our beautiful surroundings, this is out of your office in downtown Salt Lake City. And I love the background, and I don't know how you can come to work and work with such a beautiful view every day. So,
well, I work with incredible men and women, and Salt Lake is booming, as you know. Utah is one of the fastest growing economies in the country, and there's a reason, and that's why you probably came to visit. So thank you again for coming all the way from Kansas City this morning.
So, Lew, you're president and CEO of the World Trade Center. I think you took this off of the fact you served for a time in the Reagan administration, and then but tell us how this came to be, essentially, and what the role and the mission of the World Trade Center here at Salt Lake City was.
I certainly appreciate that question, because there are about 300 World Trade Centers in 100 countries around the world. The sole mission is to build relationships, increase trade, increase peace as a result of that. And Jon Huntsman and I had worked together in the Reagan administration. John was just a young 29-year-old, and I met him at the first time, and I thought, well, I've heard about these Huntsmans. They're very successful, and he probably got the job because of his father. About 10 seconds into the conversation, it dawned on me, this young man is very, very smart. So John and I worked together in the Reagan administration on international trade, export promotion, and other exciting things. He went on to have a brilliant career with 4 or 5 ambassadorships, but as governor, I could dream of him being president. As governor of Utah, he said, I wanted more internationally minded people here. And so I was in Washington, D.C. He called me up and he said, we'd like you to come out and run the World Trade Center. We're going to start it, and it's going to be an opportunity to increase the expectations of the people of Utah. And so in the 7 years we were involved, we tripled international exports. the people of Utah tripled that, and John Huntsman was so supportive. He left halfway through, though, to become the ambassador to China, and Governor Herbert took his place and just kept up the momentum to build relationships, answer questions, and increase international trade.
Yeah, is it true that Utah became the only state with a consistent positive export growth for that decade or so that you were giving oversight?
That's absolutely true. I take very little credit for it, but the people of Utah said to themselves, we speak 140 languages here. We know how to do international trade. We've got a Delta hub here that gets us around the world. Let's do more international opportunities. The people of Taiwan know where Utah is. We got to know where Taiwan is. And so for those, even through the worst times of the recent, the downturn, Utah had a positive trade balance. And we still do. And we will always have that.
So let's move over to your transition. And actually, I think in the way that you transitioned, you played a dual role when you went over to Colliers as CEO, and you also stayed somewhat involved with the World Trade Center.
I sure did. Once you're an international trade guy, you can never leave it behind. And I've had the privilege of serving as the vice chairman for the last several years with Scott Anderson, who's Mr. Utah, the former CEO of Zions Bank, and then John Huntsman as the chairman of the World Trade Center. So Colliers, may I just say, fit in so well because it's has over 500 offices in 65 countries with 17,000 professionals doing real estate. And so it's international, and it's a blessing to be able to do both those things, same time, same city, same state.
So as you look back in life and you look at your life experience, how they help shape your leading an organization?
Alan, you're the one that I should be asking that question to. Thank you for your example. And I really do appreciate that. One of the things that President Reagan used to say is, all of us together are smarter than any one of us alone. And so I've always sought to work with consensus, as we say, the 3 C's of Governor Herbert: collaboration, cooperation, and communication. And I do believe in the golden rule. I want to be treating my colleagues as I would like to be treated. And I have been so blessed every step of the way with some really fantastic mentors, colleagues, and hopefully people that will be friends for the rest of my life.
In your career, you've also been somewhat involved in education and mentorship. And how do you approach mentoring individuals? What qualities do you think are essential for the future leaders to develop?
Well, the joke is that these young people we work with, we really want them to succeed because they're going to be paying our Social Security someday, right? We want them to be successful. And I have been so blessed by the mentors in my own life. I have written down a list regularly. There's 20 men and women that have been exemplars. And I want to be that kind of person to the people that I have the blessing to help. And they've said, hey, how can I ever pay you? I said, hey, just do the same thing to the next generation. I have 6 children, and all of them, I think, have gotten some of that aura, as yours 7 have, of give back, give back, give back. And, it's a blessing to be an American. People say to me, hey, what would you do if you won the lottery? I said, wait a minute, I've won the lottery. You've won the lottery. We're American citizens. We have the freedom to do these things. We have the liberty to undertake this. We have the opportunities out there. They go, yeah. I said, well, share that with the rest of the world. So I hope that helps.
Well, now you're getting ready to do a transition here. Should we let the cat out of the bag?
It is a transition. I received the opportunity. My wife and I received in our LDS faith, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the opportunity to serve as senior missionaries. And the cat out of the bag is, last week we received this call to move to London, England, and serve as diplomatic collaborators, public affairs, outreach, interfaith bridge builders to the community in England. There are over 100 ambassadors and consuls generals in England, and our opportunity is to build relationships with them and show them how the gospel of Jesus Christ and the principles of love, humanity, peace building, can help them. And you may know that many people, maybe the listeners know that the Church of Jesus Christ has given a lot of humanitarian assistance around the world. And we'll remind the ambassadors about what a difference that can make. So thank you for saying that. We'll be gone for 2 years. We'll miss it. My Colliers partners were gracious enough to say that they will miss me. This is, I know, a national opportunity broadcast, but we have a city called Linden in Utah. And when I said I was going to London, they said, "Oh, that's great. It's just down the street in Utah County. We're grateful you'll be in Linden." They go, "Well, actually, it's London, England, not Linden, Utah, but we'll be back." So thank you for allowing me to make that pitch for the opportunities that lie ahead.
So Lew, one question I ask individuals: you've had a remarkable life. You're living in the fullness, these new opportunities, going into London and new experiences and applying the skills and gifts that you have. But at the end of the day, how do you want to be remembered in life?
Boy, I think about that a lot. At my age, I need to, but I hope my legacy to my family will be that they have a father who always loved them and who loved his wife, their mother, and that they will be committed to service and patriotism and the faith and their family going forward. And I hope that will be that. I've tried to write down some of these amazing experiences with President Reagan, with, heads of state and others that I've had the blessing to have. And I keep thinking, but the important thing is when I go home at night, they're happy to see Dad.
Thank you. And I feel that as I've, in the course of interviews that we have, it reminded me of a story of an individual that I had asked the same question to. And during the interview, this individual had actually created an ice cream empire, the ice cream empire.
Wow.
Been to both North and South Pole, served in prominent positions. But at the end of the day, your answer is so consistent that really no success that we have in life can compensate for anything other than having a success in our home life.
Well said.
And so I do feel that, giving credit to David O. McKay, who said that, a famous president of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. So Lew, I really appreciate you being with us here today.
Oh, I cannot tell you what a pleasure it is having you and your sons in our offices. You've lit it up. I said the energy shield in the state of Utah was enhanced dramatically this morning when you three arrived. So, and I want to look, you've got 7 sons, 7 children. I've only met 2 of them. I'm looking forward to the next stop. So you're always welcome here, and you certainly make Kansas City an attractive end destination in my planning. So it's an honor to be here. And thank you for all you've done and will do. And the influence is just crosses the miles. So thank you for that. And thank you for the opportunity to visit with you this morning.